Now recording.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Lizard.
Good day, Foxy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you. It is podcast time, the Minecraft unofficial update, unofficial podcast, unofficially Slack, episode 62. Would you believe it?
62. 62. I remember when you were doing the podcast originally, and you were doing the whole My Week and this and that and this and that. And I used to listen to it while I was playing on the early seasons of TV. And I kept telling you all the time, I was like, you need to do more. You need to do more. You need to do more. Never thought that doing more would eventually consist of me being here with you doing more.
Well, there we go. And not to mention just you, Slack, but we have to mention all of our amazing patrons as well. We're up to 32, which is absolutely amazing. They obviously all enjoy the show enough to support us both, which is absolutely fantastic. And if you enjoy the show, you can go to patreon.com/the Minecraft update and help us out, which is great. The minimum perks you'll get are access to our patron-only feed for bonus content when we record it, access to our Discord channels for the patron-only ones, and a Discord role. And you might notice there's a perk missing on there, which was the access to the live shows. But we're doing those for everybody now, okay? Jeez.
They're always so demanding. Always so demanding.
I know, right? So Slack, last week, I think it went quite well. Our little live show that we did with the cameras and stuff. We're back at it again this week.
Yeah.
What did everyone think of it? What do you think? Have we got some feedback, maybe?
Did we? Hold on. I'm supposed to have documents open. I knew this.
Yeah.
I am totally not squirreling away somewhere else. Where's feedback? Oh, feedback here. I guess it's time to say that it's time to start feedback is what you're trying to tell me, right?
Yes, basically.
Okay. So we got Meerkat up first, and they said, if looking at rack mounts, keep an eye on the thermals. 1U rack are bad for good airflow. That said, if inserting RTX cards, geez, words are difficult. Then maybe you went with 4U rack, but look, maybe something less concerning. Okay, tech talk. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so obviously last week I talked about putting my old PC into server racks, and I think Meerkat's panicking that I've tried to shove them into those tiny little weeny skinny ones that are designed for like industrial servers. No, it's in a big old 4U big old box with many fans on it. It's fine. Don't worry, Meerkat. And it's been working very well. Thank you very much. It's been good doing all my rendering for me this week, of which there's been many rendering to do, Slack.
Many.
Okay.
How many?
Oh, well, I'll get to that when we get to that section of the podcast. But before we get to that, I'm going to see what Stitch Fixes has to say, because they don't have much to say, Stitch Fix. So we shouldn't be here too long. Stitch Fix says, they're not in the chat. It's okay. Good. We can be mean. Excellent.
Yep. Sounds good. Mm-hmm.
Foxy, how's your day? Love the pod. You and Slack do the best collabs, I think, because you two do bounce off each other very well. You're funny, but interesting. You don't have to respond to this touchy subject, but Jesse was a nice addition to the podcast, but as creators, I only watch you and Slack. Well, that is a touchy subject. My favorite podcast, other than yours, is Time Suck. I listen to it daily. He's a comedian. He talks about various topics. The reason I say this is because my favorite bits from that is how he adds his humor into sometimes very dark topics like serial killers. Oh, geez, Stitch Fix, where are you going with this? The best bit is at the end, called The Idiots of the Internet, where he reads off some of the most ridiculous comments from YouTube videos on serious topics. I don't know if you can relate to this somehow. I don't know if you can relate this somehow to Minecraft, but personally, anything that adds humor and personality gives listeners a way to relate to you as humans. I hope that makes sense. Much love to both of you. Maybe Minecraft moment of the week. Something funny and frustrating you did this week. And then there's some bonus content thoughts, which I'm going to skip through because, I've already talked to them about that. And they say, Stitch Fix, a.k.a. Oh Snap, it's Pam G, representative of the Foxy family. Yeah. Okay. It's the thing is, right? It's really easy to look at something someone else does and go, why don't you do that? But that person's obviously that's how they like to do things and that's what they're good at. And I guess it would be quite easy to go off and find other people's videos and find some humorous comments in them and bully the people that have made the comments, and laugh at them for a humorous to be humorous. Well, I used to do that. I used to be a lot meaner about my comments and stuff. But then, it took me a while to realize that not everybody knows things like I do or sees things like I do. And you can't just berate somebody and laugh at them because they have a different opinion to you. I mean, sometimes there's just some absolutely ridiculous stuff in there, but not always. Sometimes it's just someone getting the wrong end of the stick, or someone misunderstanding something, or someone just not knowing something. And when it comes to things like, maybe you can find some interest in my Minecraft moment of the week. It's like, I'm not watching anyone else's Minecraft videos. I don't have opportunities or time to go around looking through loads of different videos online for a humorous Minecraft moment. So unless somebody's going to like point out, hey, this was funny, and they have a similar like sense of humor to me, I'm not going to get it, and I ain't going to do that. I sound really mean saying this, but I get suggestions like this all the time. Why don't you do this, and why don't you do that? And whilst it might seem quite easy just off the cuff saying it, it'd be a nightmare for me.
No.
Yeah. How would you find that?
No.
You don't just come across humorous moments in Minecraft.
No, unless they meant to say maybe your Minecraft moment of the week. Yeah.
But I've recorded 10 Minecraft videos this week, Slack, and I haven't. In fact, I've done that in the last 2 days, and I can't think of one particular moment that I would go, oh yeah, that'd be a good one. I
can. Last night we built a sorter on one of my servers that's for a barter farm that produces over 1 million drops an hour. That was quite an interesting ordeal to turn on.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, generally, no, I couldn't think of nothing like that in particular.
I feel
not
so
every
much
week's a good
pressure
week
to do that. And I'm not saying the videos weren't humorous. There was a lot of funny bits in there. I fought a wither. I died. I had issues with slimes and other farms. I have bees being really angry at me.
You died?
Yeah, as usual.
Thought you didn't die on TV.
Oh. No, it was. I faked it. It's not real death.
Okay. All right, just making sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are funny moments, but I would find it so. It's like when someone says, "What's your favorite color?" I don't know. Because it depends
on my mood.
Yeah, exactly. What's your favorite food? I don't know.
Depends on my mood.
It depends exactly what I'm hungry for. Like, you go shopping when you're hungry and you buy a lot more than you do when you're not hungry, and it's the same. So for me, what's your favorite Minecraft moment? I don't know. What's your favorite game? I don't know. What's your favorite movie? I don't know.
That's kind of an interesting one too. So you eat before you go to the grocery, and then later that night you regret that you didn't buy all the junk food that you wanted because you were full, or you don't eat and you go buy half the store, and then when you get home you're like, I made a mistake. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm really sorry, Stitch Fix, when you're listening to this on the podcast. I'm not trying to be mean, but that sort of thing I would find personally very, very difficult to do, and I certainly wouldn't want to make any reaction content like laughing at other people, as I don't think that's appropriate thing to do. And I get it; it can be really funny, but I probably would enjoy the thing that you're talking about. But yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it. So. Okay, next
we got Rotated Outface, and they said, that the D&D DLC is because of the movie that just released, right? That is what's in it for them, promoting their movie.
So yeah, we asked why are they doing the Dungeons and Dragon DLC, and if it's free, what's actually in it for them? And I guess Rob's right. Yeah, they get to promote the movie that's coming out, but I don't think those things are connected. The Dungeons and Dragon DLC for Minecraft, nobody's mentioned any connection to the film, and it's not like if a new film came out and it was called Escape to Mars, for instance, and then there was an Escape to Mars DLC came out for Minecraft, you go, well, they're connected because that's the thing from the movie. But Dungeons and Dragons is not. Like, that film hasn't come out and everyone's gone, oh, what's this new Dungeons and Dragons thing? Dungeons and Dragons is just its own entity. It's already exists. The fact
but at the same time, if one person talks about it through word of mouth and you see a commercial on TV about the new Dungeons and Dragons movie, and then you see this or you see that and you see the DLC, you're like, ooh, maybe those are related. It's like keywords,
Oh, yeah.
Hot topics.
Definitely. But I don't I don't see the only connection I can see there is for the people that own Dungeons and Dragons, not the people that made the movie. And I'm sure whoever made the movie, obviously they're going to get paid, and Dungeons and Dragons are going to get a good old whack of commission on that for the use of the rights. But so in that respect, if they've got a Dungeons and Dragons DLC, Dungeons and Dragons as a company are going to get more money from those people watching the movie, or vice versa. But I don't know. It just feels a bit odd.
Yeah,
so it doesn't gel as well as something else. But maybe you're probably right, Roth. That's probably the reason. Jeez, Craner Rainquest says, "Hey fellas, I agree with many people that the AI voices took away from the show as a whole. It was neat and fun toy that gets old after 15 minutes, but I don't think it should be a staple." You're late, Rainquest. We talked about this last week. Jeez.
That's old news. Old news, right? High Hopes 5 says, "I consume quite a bit of podcasts, and a good chunk of my TV watching is on YouTube. However, I'll listen to a 2 to 4 hour podcast a lot quicker than I'll watch a 5-minute video. Videos, I want to see the visual components, which means it's taking up 100% of my attention, whereas podcasts, I just need one ear for, which means I'm able to listen while working, driving, etc. Too long didn't read. Podcasts can be much longer than videos and still be enjoyable."
I totally agree with you.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. It's much easier to just put a podcast on in the background and just carry on with what you're doing. And I do that regularly, but I can't do it with videos. If there's a video on, I have to watch it. And that's where the WAN show, the Linus Tech Tips thing, kind of throws me, because, and this is one of the reasons I didn't want to originally do a video version of the podcast, is because when I watch the WAN show, it's a very, very visual podcast. They're holding up merchandise. They're looking at things. They're talking about stuff they can see. And it really makes you want to see it in order to appreciate the content. So I do put that in the car I have YouTube Premium, and I put it on in the car. So I turn my phone screen off and it plays through the car. But I'm often frustrated listening to it and pausing it and thinking I'll have to watch that when I get home so I can see what they're talking about.
Yep.
So I don't want this to become that, but I totally agree with you. An actual just audio production podcast they can be, for me, as long as they want, and I'll find time to listen to it, because you can listen to it anytime.
Yeah. I love putting on podcasts or stuff like that in the background while I'm doing big grindy projects in Minecraft where I'm not recording.
Yeah.
Audio books or something. Yep. Totally agree.
Squirrelicious says, "It's been a while since I visited the podcast website, and I've just been perusing it. I'd like to say, job well done. It's very well organized and looks really clean. Bonus show content should probably be listed there too." Wow, Squirrelicious, you always got jobs for me. Yeah, telling me off earlier for putting the wrong announcement time down, because I did it in GMT and not BST, because I was trying to be helpful. And now you need your bonus show content somewhere. You're right. We should put it on there. I was thinking about that, but I need to add a new system to the admin system in order to do that, because it's not. So it probably won't happen for a while. Jeez.
Okay, right. Wildcat Dad 17 says, "I will say I get trying to stick to the 2-hour timecast, and I can appreciate it. I do love longer episodes, but they aren't for everyone. Not for the show. I say this as someone who hosts a podcast in a different game space that runs 3 hours a week typically. Also, hosting the podcast live on Twitch will be awesome, but maybe you should start it on a rotating Foxy and Slack channel before moving to a new channel. Leverage your existing subscribers into growth for the podcast."
No. No. You can't start something somewhere. The thing with YouTube and Twitch is you can't move people.
No.
You cannot move people.
No.
I've got my Foxy 2 and my Duckshot channel, and it doesn't matter how much I do on my main channel. If I tell those people, hey, I'm also doing stuff there as well, they don't go across. I really have to push really hard to get the smallest number of people across. And so my main channel's at 53,000 subs now, and my Duckshot channel's got 300, and it won't budge because they won't follow you. So if we started this is why I don't really want to move the uploads to my second channel for the podcast onto a different channel, because the people that watch it won't go with it. And therefore, it'll take forever, absolutely forever, to ever get that channel monetized to a point where we can actually utilize it, and it will be a big hit to the podcast, like financially and morally as well, because we're getting a lot less views on it. So doing that, pushing it out through mine or Slack's channels first, whilst yes, we will get more viewers and listeners initially, and you would think, well, of course, if they're enjoying it, they'll follow you. They won't. They will not follow you.
Will not.
You go, right, we're moving it now, guys. And they're going to go, oh, okay, bye.
Yeah, it's just like, who was it? Somebody brought up the other thing the other day. Why don't you move people from Patreon to Ko-fi? No,
they won't, because they won't.
No, they won't.
No, you would lose 90% at least. At least 90% you would lose doing it. So it's a real shame. Technically, I understand. Logically, it makes sense, but in the real world, it don't make sense.
No, not at all.
Okay, Brood says, hi, Foxy and Slack. I wasn't sure where to put this, as it's kind of both feedback and a question. Foxy mentioned he would like a quiz, but without a third person to ask the questions, or it won't work. What about asking a few of your content creator friends to record clips for the questions? That's kind of a little bit like Stitch Fix's dreamy idea of people that just sat around with plenty of time on the hands to just sit and do nothing. So the people we play with, let's talk about the truly Bedrock people. They are their own people doing their own stuff, and we just happen to share a server. And while we do have a little bit of back and forth in the background, it's not like we're all like chummy mates going around each other's house and having a laugh and spending time with each other in a spare time, which maybe we would if we lived closer, but I doubt it very much. We're work colleagues, really, more than anything. Yeah. So I'm sure some of them would if we asked them nicely, but I would feel awful about doing it, because if someone came to me like on a regular basis and said, can you record a clip of you asking me questions for my podcast that you've got no involvement in and no financial gain from, I'd be like, no.
Yeah, it gets a little touchy, because each independent person is going to have their own thing. Like, we all may come together as a brand on TB, but at the end of the day, we're all trying to establish and build our own brand and do our own thing and things that work. So while you may not see us on TB all the time, rest assured, if we're sitting in front of our computer, we're probably working.
Yeah, and that's me and Slack. We do this full time, whereas most of them don't. Most of the TB peeps they've got jobs and lives and families and stuff. I don't think they'd want to take sort of 20 minutes, half an hour a week to go and sit and record some audio and send it to us. And no, I still don't know how that would work, because we'd have to give them the questions.
Yeah,
which means we'd know the answers. maybe
eventually, but not right now. No, not right now at all.
Sorry, Brood.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Right, Shadow the project. Oh, what? Huh?
Yeah, no, go on. Sorry, I thought it was me. It's you.
No, it's me this time. Shadow here. I sent an email entirely earlier today where I said a few things, including how to pronounce my username. I forgot to mention that it's all good. I had a good laugh when you two were trying to say it. Look, as a YouTube content creator and as a streamer, butchering names is a specialty service that we provide free of charge. Just saying.
Yes. It's incredible, isn't it? It's like if there's not a camera in front of you, you can sit and you can read everything perfectly. You can understand what things say. As soon as there's a camera on you, or as soon as you're live, your brain just goes to mush, and words just all of a sudden they become like the text that comes out of the Minecraft enchanted books. It's just
well, there's so much more to focus on. It's like I've enjoyed where new people I know that have been part of the community forever have started to try to stream. And I say try to stream because they finally have a few streams and they're like, I don't see how you do it. It's not as simple as playing a game. You are multitasking to a level that just absolutely drains you. I swear, I've went out and done workouts before and came home and felt less tired than after a good 2 or 3 hour stream.
Yeah, go to the gym for a couple of hours, get a real sweat on and walk home and you're like, yeah, I'm all right. Do a live stream. You just need to go lay down.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Oh,
Whitebush says, just to clarify, if you put my comment about the AI voice in a negative category, I actually liked it most of the time. I quite like it when he interrupts unexpectedly, like Big Chicken or Mr. Onion. Basically, I find it quite entertaining when you're in a dialogue argument spill out for us to hear, Foxy. Well, I'm glad you think so, Whitebush, but nobody else did.
I don't think they liked it on the podcast. They love it in episodes, though.
No, they hated all of them.
Oh, does somebody need a hug? Come here.
No,
Come
hugs.
Here. Come here.
No.
Are you a no hugger?
I don't like hugs. Hugs are reserved for special people, like one of them. And my kids.
Wow.
No, like not. Yeah, just it's awkward. Okay, I don't like being awkward.
But see, here's the opposite though. If I'm a hugging person and you're not, then it's become awkward for me. Right, you hadn't considered it that way, had you?
Read the next one.
Tiny Raccoon is up next, and they say, "Hi, all. Last podcast, you mentioned that you almost always read about bug dates, but the ones I mentioned weren't spoken. Not sure if it was intentional or not, or if it was just wasn't, or if you just weren't listening. Thanks for the great podcast. P.S. Sorry about guilt tripping you last week, and this is a genuine question. Please do not feel guilty." Go ahead, Foxy.
I responded to Tiny Raccoon in the actual bug reports thing today because they sent a bug report and they wrote, "Hi all, nice and simple today. You know the water elevator damage bug? Well, it's the same with Crimson Vines too." And I'm thinking, well, the water elevator damage bug is when you're bouncing up and down on the top of a bubble column. You're not doing anything. The bubble columns put you up there. And then you get out and you take a load of damage. How can that happen with vines? Because there's no bubbles. You're not bouncing. So I didn't understand it. And I thought, I can't put that bug in the Bugdate because it doesn't make any sense. We've got no information. We've got no bug report. We just, what do we say? We're just like, it. And it's very awkward for me and Slack. We've had a lot of bugs over the past where we sort of read them out and then go, all right, okay, and then move on to the next one. And there's no discussion to be had because we don't understand what's been said and we've got no like reference to it. So as much as most of the bug date things that we get, I do put in, there are still quite a few that don't go on because I know that there's no way we can respond to it because we don't get enough information. We don't. So I responded to Tiny Raccoon and said, tell us what the bug is. How does it work? How does it affect the player? How do you recreate it in the game? And, put a bug report in ideally so we can look at it and see what you're talking about. Because, it's like when we get in the feedback form every week, people will just go, hey, I'm not going to put it in the podcast.
It's one of those things that we've talked about before. Not everything is always going to make it in. We're going to try to put in as much as we can that we feel is relevant. But if something just doesn't feel relevant at that time, you just can't take it personal that we just didn't put it in that week. And if you feel it's something important, hey, bring it back up again, but maybe go into a little bit more detail about it. There's reasons, time constraints or whatever, or it just feels confusing or something else. And just don't take it personal. It is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Just to step away from the feedback a second, Jen has just said in the chat while we're live in the Discord saying, wow, guess who's not getting a hug when they meet up? Slack is a hugger. Now, the difference is, Jen, right? If it's just me and Slack or me, Slack and you, I'll give Slack a hug, not a problem. But in the middle of a podcast, and when I'm live to people, I'm on camera, I feel really awkward. I don't want a hug.
It's okay.
I'm shy.
Okay. It's okay, princess. Jeez. I mean, what? Huh?
Zenman16, is it me or it's me, isn't it?
Yeah, you.
Zenman16 says, I really enjoyed the new format with the video feed. I thought it gave the feeling of being more connected with you guys, even if Slack's video feed was a bit temperamental. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? Well, oh no, Turtley78, don't like your video either, Slack. Oh, geez.
It was about 2 frames a second. Yeah, I noticed that. Watching it over here, it's like it doesn't give it enough upload rate to the thing. I'm almost wondering if it'd be better to just share my camera with you directly and you do a screen capture of that and put it in. I don't know.
I don't know how that would work because I'm using... So, okay, let me explain. So basically, Turtley78 said it was a real issue watching the podcast last week because Slack's video was at 2 frames per second, which is, I get, but we're going through a free service called Video Ninja. So Slack is basically sending his camera to that, and then I'm hooking into that through OBS. And I don't know of another way of doing it that would be a reasonable way of doing it, because I need it to go into OBS so that I can share all of that into the Discord, and the Discord thinks that's my camera. So if you was
how I would go about it then as an alternate route, and we don't have to try it now, would be I would turn on my camera here, and you could pop that out and pull it over to a monitor all by itself. And then you would do a window capture, and you would capture only that part of that monitor while we were doing that. That makes sense? And then you would put that
I see what you mean.
Yeah,
that would work, but I haven't got any screen left.
I feel you there. Going from 4 to 2, I'm struggling.
Yeah, I got rid of my third one ages ago. So I've got 2 screens, which I'm very spoiled with because they're nice big screens. But half of this one here is all of the notes and everything we read. And the other half is the news section that I'll be sharing with the stream. So that needs to not be interfered with. Then on this side, I've got a quarter of it is OBS, so I can see that we're actually recording and that things are going on. Below that's Audacity, so I can see it's actually picking up my microphone. And then the other half of it is squished in there like that is Discord, where I've got like all of the things going on, the messages, and I'm flicking between. There's no room for Slack's camera. So if you don't like watching Slack's 2 frames per second video, what you can do is turn it off. And just listen to the podcast instead, Turtley. There you go. You're welcome.
Wow, Turtley, that's good advice. Yeah. Good talk.
Okay, that is it from the feedback. If you want to leave us feedback, you can do by emailing us at news@theminecraftupdate.com, filling in our feedback form on the website without just saying hey, ideally, or joining our Discord. All of the links for those are in the description below. Right, before we go into the news, Slack, we have quite a big thing that we need to talk about, which we talked about in our patron bonus show this week. And that is changing the name of the podcast.
Indeed.
Yeah. Which I don't want to do because that has similar things to what we were saying a minute ago about trying to move people from one place to another on social networking. You change the name of something, all of a sudden people go, I wasn't subscribed to that. Where's the one I used to listen to gone? You know, it's a difficult thing to do, but there are reasons behind it that I'll try and go into detail of, but not too long. We talked about it in quite some depth on the patron bonus show, and we've decided we need to do it. Basically, Minecraft or Mojang's terms and conditions are that you can use the name Minecraft in a name like the Minecraft Update podcast, as long as it isn't the predominant word in the sentence. So the Minecraft Update podcast, it is the predominant word, which is why we always put unofficial on everything. You can't look like you are anything official or affiliated with them, and you aren't allowed to say anything negative about Mojang or Minecraft or any of their stuff, which we sometimes do when we're talking about bugs and things like that. And that's if you are not commercial. If you are commercially using it, which we are now because we got Patreon, we're going to be doing Twitch streams and stuff like that, then it's also, it gets even worse. It's a big problem. You've got to plaster stuff all over your content to say that you're not affiliated with them in any way. And it's a bit of a nightmare. The other thing is, somebody mentioned the other week, what about Minecraft Update podcast merch? I'd like that. Well, we can't put a Minecraft logo on stuff and claim it's ours.
No, definitely not.
You know, so I came up with the idea, the block update, which it's still the something update, which works. The block update is a technical thing in Minecraft. The blocks have block updates. It's block to do with Minecraft, and I think that would work well. And I got onto thinking then when we do our bonus show, we instead of calling it just the bonus show, we could call it the random ticks. And we can create a whole bunch of little words around that based on these technical Minecraft things, because Slack and I both have quite technical backgrounds when it comes to Minecraft. Now, we don't want to just tomorrow it's all going to change, so say goodbye to the Minecraft Update podcast. But what we are going to do is start rolling out the change slowly. So when we start our new Twitch channel, for instance, when we do these live on Twitch rather than in the Discord, that will just straight off be the block update Twitch channel. The name of the podcast, as we announce it in the podcast shows over the next 2 weeks, will change to the block update, but it will still be the Minecraft Update podcast in your podcast feed and on Patreon and everything like that. And over the next few weeks, we'll slowly start changing it And you'll get fed up of us saying it, but we'll have to remind you in every single podcast what we're doing, because not everybody listens to every single podcast. And hopefully in a couple of months' time, as we get towards the summer, everything should have transitioned over and all be the block update. So expect Google Podcasts to absolutely hate us for changing things again, because they don't like it when I change anything. I've already got the blockupdate.com domain name, so we'll be moving the website over to that. So yeah, it's all good. Don't worry about it. But
and you can still redirect from the other one until for a while, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I will keep that one, so it'll just go straight there. So it's not a problem. Just means I've got to do a new logo now, which I haven't done yet. I'm not going to be doing that before I go away on holiday. So another reason for delaying all of this sort of stuff. And obviously there's a bunch of stuff we'll have to change on lots of different things to just to sort that out. So don't be surprised if all of a sudden you join the Discord one day and the Minecraft update one appears to have disappeared and the block update one is there instead. I will try and keep the Minecraft grass block texture as the background, so it's not too dissimilar, but the words on the front will change, and probably the font as well, because I would like a font that's not a Minecraft font that we could potentially use for merch and stuff in the future as well.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay, right. That's that out of the way. It's time to go into the news, Slack.
We have news this week? I don't remember.
We got a little bit of not much happened this week, really.
You know, with the amount that things are starting to slow down, it makes me think we're getting closer.
Yeah. Yeah, so starting with Minecraft beta and preview, I need to share the doc. Hang on a minute. 1.19.80.24. Let me zoom in for all of you people that are short-sighted.
Or on their phones, yeah.
Yeah, no, they're just short. They're all on their TVs, big old 48-inch, like giant 4K TVs. They can see it fine. Slack, they're just moaning. It's fine. Okay. There have been several crashes that have been fixed. Simulation distance no longer is reset after entering a world, which is, I didn't even know that was a thing, but that could have been really annoying.
That's bad, yeah.
And my armor stands bug fix has been in. Now, this is actually noted twice in this changelog we've got at the top. It says resolved an issue that prevented items from being equipped on an armor stand, but it doesn't mention crouching. And then if you go to the bottom, it says fixed an issue caused by the interact component not working while sneaking. That's my bug. So they fixed it, which is amazing. So my armor stands pack should be fixed with this one. And it does say, though, this means we have temporarily reverted the fix for not being able to pose an armor stand while flying. Why do you need to pose an armor stand while flying?
Huh?
How?
Why?
How would you even do it?
It doesn't matter anyways. You can crouch while you're flying, so why couldn't you?
They stopped that, didn't they? You can't crouch while you're flying anymore. They took that away.
I'm
pretty sure that's been taken away.
I always crouch land.
Somebody
so that
mentioned
I don't fall
that.
off the blocks.
No,
now I need to test that.
I think you can still hold crouch and still be crouched when you land, but you don't do like that weird thing in the air when you sort of bend in half.
Oh, that's weird. I don't know. That makes no sense.
Yeah. So why would you need? I can't think of any circumstance where you would need to change the pose on an armor stand while you're flying. How slow must you have to be flying to even like accurately click on the armor stand and change its pose?
I don't know.
I'm glad that fixing my bug got preference over that frankly ridiculous thing. And then there's some changes with the user interface for mobile users because they've totally broke the user interface for mobile users. Okay.
That's every other week. Yep.
Going into Minecraft Java Edition, they released a snapshot this week, Slack, which was Snapshot 23W14A, which didn't have a massive amount in it either. They've made a few changes to sculk blocks, though, that are quite interesting. And that I've written on my notes odd changes because it didn't really make much sense. So it just says changes to sculk blocks, but then it does go into a bit more detail later on. And then it says replaceable blocks no longer block the connection between enchanting tables and bookshelves. What are replaceable blocks?
Excuse me, where is that? Under technical or where?
There's the second one down in changes. So this is the second bug report. changelog that we've got linked in the notes. Big old thing that says changes.
What is
and
a replaceable block?
I don't know. So I don't understand that one. It says, in the desert temple, the new room has more of its roof collapsed and one block of suspicious sand is always visible in the top layer. So that's nice. And we'll get into this later. They've changed all of the Java Edition logos and icons, but we'll get to that on its own thing. The Skulk Shrieker can now be waterlogged to shut them up, which is quite nice. I'd like that on Bedrock Edition. The Skulk Sensor, now the redstone has been changed a bit, so it's more reliable apparently. And the calibrated Skulk Sensor has an active cooldown of 1 second instead of 2, which means they'll all activate a bit more quickly. So I don't know, did you see Mumbo Jumbo's video where he basically took a load of calibrated Skulk Sensors, programming sounds to them, and then sent them miles away across the other side of like where he was, and it picked them up the other end and decoded them from the different sounds he was making?
No, I hadn't seen that.
It's really interesting. I was thinking you could almost, like, if you tuned that into note blocks, you could do it is radio broadcast at the end of the day. You've got a transmission at one end and a receiver at the other, and all you had in between was a bunch of like calibrated Skulk Sensors, but it was very slow. So this will obviously pick that up a lot quicker. And also you'll need less calibrated Skulk Sensors now because the detection range has gone up to 16 blocks instead of 8, which is quite useful.
Yes, very much.
They've done stuff with signs so that they'll work better. And they have added a whole new way to play the game on Java Edition Slack. It's called Quick Play, which allows you to load Minecraft directly into a world. You don't have to go like load it up, go through the menus or anything like that. You can go into a single player world, a server or a realm, and you just have to run. It's basically, I think, from the command line, you put in the stuff and it'll go boop, and it'll go straight into that world. So I assume if that's the case, you no longer need to actually use the launcher, because that's the slowest thing of loading up Minecraft Java Edition is you have to wait for the launcher to load, find what you're playing, click on that, and then it takes forever. So I think this is fantastic. This is really good.
It's really good for them. I don't know if we'll ever get that kind of a support, though.
Bedrock's fast, though. You load up Minecraft Java Edition, you load up Bedrock, and by the time you've even got through the large launcher, because Bedrock, you don't need the launcher. With Java Edition, you open the launcher, that takes ages, then you click on play, and then it goes, just nothing happens for ages, and then all of a sudden the window pops up, and that takes ages. You're already 20 minutes into your game on Bedrock Edition before that.
Yeah, because it's got to verify that you got the files. It's got to do this. It's got to do that. Yeah, that's fair.
So I don't think we really need it on Bedrock, but it would be nice just to be able to like click a button and go, right, I'm just going to click that, and it's going to take me straight onto the TB server off my desktop or my like taskbar. That'd be great.
This is nice because looking at the quick path settings, you can identify if it's a single player world, multiplayer world, whatever realm with the realm ID.
Yeah.
So in that essence, you could have multiple icons on your desktop there to be like, I click this one and I immediately log into Purely Hardcore. And I click this one, I immediately log into my single player world. I should click this one. I like that.
Yeah, so that's a really nice change to see. So yeah, the Java Edition's had a bunch of stuff going on this week. They've got a whole bunch of bug reports bug fixes have been fixed. And that's about it. So between the preview and the Java Edition snapshot, there really hasn't been a massive amount of new stuff, which really does make me think that 1.20 is just around the corner.
Yep.
Okay, let's have a look how the Minecraft icons are changing. And I believe this is just for Java Edition. So the Java Edition logo itself has become bigger slightly. And if you notice, the text is no longer all, I think they've just got a higher resolution graphic there as well.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
They've done all of like the snapshot thing. So the old snapshot used to be a crafting table, and now it's a shiny block of dirt. The Java Edition logo used to be the iconic grass block, but now it's a shiny grass block that's in a slightly different orientation. And then if we go down the Bedrock, they're doing like the Bedrock preview is a dirt block rather than a small grass block now. Bedrock Edition's got that's the one we used. They've copied the one from the podcast. That's my grass block. Hey, I made my own grass block. You steal it. I did when I did the grass block for the background of the podcast. I changed it. I edited it a bit so it wasn't 100% Minecraft vanilla, and I put some like 3D effects on the grass and stuff like that, so it looked interesting. And they've stole it. Jeez. So yeah, and then the launcher is no longer going to be the shiny grass block. It's going to be a creeper face, and the legacy launcher, whatever that is, going to be a black and white creeper face, and that's about it. So there you go. Expect to see some changes with the icons. If you no longer recognize it, it's a little bit like changing us to the block update. You won't have a clue what it is. Delete it. It's obviously spam. It's going to be a phishing link. Get rid of it.
No, that's not.
Delete all your worlds.
No. That's not what we're supposed to tell them.
Oh, okay. Well, I was talking about Minecraft, not us. Obviously, we're legit. But if I see that creeper face instead of the launcher, I think I've been hacked. Just saying.
Yeah, creepers running around on your desktop now. That could be dangerous.
Yeah. Okay, the next piece of news. This is the big one, Slack. The April Fool's thing that Mojang did for 2023. They set the launcher on fire. Can you believe it? The Minecraft Java launcher, when you loaded it, little bits of fire would come out, and you could put them out with, you could click on them and put them out, which was, it seemed quite lacking compared to last year's like one block game that they did, but that's what they did. So,
well, that was what they did the day before. They actually did something that day too. Mm-hmm.
I was trying to troll everybody, Slack. Jeez.
I know, and I'm trying to ruin your troll.
Yes, of course, they did a whole new snapshot. They did a whole new game, and they called it the Vote Update. And did you see this, Slack?
I've seen some stuff about it. It was hilarious.
I really wanted to play it because it was.
Me too. I didn't get to.
Okay, so the Vote Update, what they did was they created a voting system inside of Java Edition of Minecraft, and they do the snapshots, they do the April Fool's stuff on the Java Edition of Minecraft and not Bedrock, because it's very, very easy to mod Java Edition. Bedrock Edition is a lot harder for them to code quick stuff into, and obviously that has to be playable on all sorts of different devices, and if they did this on Bedrock Edition just wouldn't work. So, and also we can't choose our different versions on Bedrock Edition, so it'd be a whole nightmare. So don't get upset that they're not doing this on Bedrock Edition because they don't care about it. It's just a way that they can easily throw things into the game and give us some fun once a year. And boy, did they give us a lot of fun, Slack. Okay, so when you go into the game, you basically, every few minutes, pop up or a thing in the chat will come up and it will ask you to vote on something. And basically it'll say, do you want, let's say, grass to turn blue instead of green, or banners to look like beds instead of banners, or slime to be super bouncy, and you can vote yes or no. And if you vote yes, after a little while in the game, it puts those votes through and everything starts to change. And they didn't just add that. They added a whole bunch of new blocks. They added new biomes. They added new features. It's incredible the level of detail they went through. But the troll in this was not the vote update itself. It was them basically going, we hear everything you're asking for, but we're not putting it in the game. So we're giving you it in this instead. So shut up. And they have no less, Slack, than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of our good ideas bin ideas in this snapshot. Do you want me to tell you what they were?
Yes, please.
Grappling hooks. Grappling hooks, they added in. The fishing rod can become a grappling hook. It didn't work quite the way I would have used it. Basically, when you fling the fishing rod, whatever it sticks to, it then pulls you in, but you go flying. You go literally flying, which is great if you've got a Elytra, but if you don't, it's certain death. They have what we talked about, I think it was last week or the week before, the ability to take a potion to either go really, really small or go big. And like when you're small, the camera and everything goes with you. So you literally can be a tiny person in Minecraft, like experiencing the world as a giant thing, or really big. Look, it's amazing. And you could do that to mobs as well. They had a function that allowed the players to sleep to pass the day instead of to pass the night. They added cheese, Slack. They added moon cheese and vertical slabs. Now, the vertical slabs are technically not vertical slabs, but they were something no one's actually ever asked for, but even better. Did you see how the moon cheese block works, Slack?
No, I did not.
Okay, so imagine you've got a full block. When you know how a cake works, you click on a cake and a slice of the cake goes, until the cake's all gone. Well, the moon cheese block, basically, if you divide that block into quarters, so there's 8 mini blocks within each block, whichever quarter of it you click on, that bit disappears. So you could create stairs with it, slabs with it, vertical slabs with it. You could create pillars with it on like one mini block at the top and one at the bottom, and they work. They work really well. I want these. I want if Bedrock Edition gives us the ability with add-ons to be able to determine which part of the block that the player has clicked on, I will be making that add-on because they're incredible. I want them. Okay. They had super fishing, which was just a big like shove it in the face of or like, because Mojang hate AFK fish farms. So basically when you did that and you put your fishing rod in the water, it literally just threw items at you like at incredible speed. I would say it must have been like 50 items a second, just launching all of these fishing items at you, which was incredible. And then there was like an alternate to that where it wouldn't just be fishing loot, it would just be random. Every block and item in the game, it would just throw it at you, which was really funny. They added in the ability to do pushable tiles and chest entities. So like we've got in Bedrock Edition, the Java Edition people could push chests and ender chests and all that sort of stuff with pistons. And they allowed them to change how many blocks a piston could push. So
my God, that would be nice.
Yeah. And now they're all the things that we've had in the good ideas bin. Other things that they had that were to do with the pistons, there was something that was requested a while back was chain pistons to work a little bit like slime blocks or honey blocks. Whereas if you've got a sticky piston and a chain in front of it that's facing in the right direction, if you link those chains together, so basically like a line of chains, whatever blocks at the other end, the chains will pull. So they'll act like slime blocks, but they won't stick on the sides of the chains. They'll only stick down the middle.
That makes sense, yeah.
So that was really cool. And I don't know whether it was intended or if it was just a bug, but because they'd been fiddling with sticky pistons and stuff like that, the sticky pistons would all stick to each other. So let's say you like got a stack of sticky pistons and you push the bottom one up and then go down again. Normally they would all go up, but only the one attached to the sticky piston would come down. The rest would stay floating, but the sticky pistons stayed sticky. So they all moved with it up and down, which was quite interesting. So yeah, that's incredible.
That's fun.
They added the Aether portal, so portal to the Aether, but when you went through it, it would say 404 dimension not found and just drop you from low, like really high up in the sky. They added some custom capes. They added 2 new blocks, Slack. 2 new blocks. The block miner, which would mine any block you put in front of it, including bedrock. It would just break it down into its item. And the block placer, which would take an item or it would take items from a chest or just loose items that were sat behind it and place them, which were really cool. There was an option for it to turn slime into super bouncy slime, which was a very important thing to do if you wanted to go to the new dimension. There was ability to become any entity. You could drink a potion and become any entity. You could change the biome colors, the grass, the sky, the fog colors. There was a thing that lava would spread. So you would just put lava down, like it created a lava source, but it just kept spreading and spreading and spreading until it filled up all the edges, which was lag inducing. They had a thing, you know how you can do jeb sheep and it will change color like a rainbow? You could jeb anything. You could, any entity in the game, you could make it a rainbow. Midas Touch made anything you walked on or even entities turn to gold. So that was really cool. Minecarts could have wheels, and there were so many more. But the bit I liked the most was the new dimension they added, they really thought about. So they added the ability to go to the moon. And the way you got to the moon was to get to, I think it was about 700 blocks in the air. And if you did that, all of a sudden the moon's gravity would start pulling you in and you would end up on the moon. So you could do that by using the super bouncy slime, because the super bouncy slime, if you bounce on it, you would just go higher and higher and higher and higher and higher until you eventually get up there. You could use bee loons. Basically, if you put 3 bees on leads, you would start floating up into the sky until you got there. And there was a bunch of other ways to do it. But when you got up there, there were moon cows that had little space helmets on. There was low gravity on there, and there was this like incredible structure in the middle. When you clicked it, it did all of this weird block animation and created this like huge I don't know how to say it. There's just this crazy structure in it. It had like shulker boxes and chests all over it with stuff that allowed you to actually be able to live and survive on the moon. The problem is though, Slack, on the moon, there's no air. So you would lose air pretty quickly. However, it was possible, and I can't remember how you did it, but I think it was empty bottles. You could craft air and you could craft packed air. And if you make like a room on the moon, if you dig out a room or put some blocks down, create a room, you could break open that packed air, click on it on the floor, and it would fill the room with air, and then you could breathe. So you could make airlocks and things like that. So yeah, really well thought out, really well implemented. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of bugs with it, but I'd love to play it. But it was brilliant. Really, really interesting watching people play that. And it just goes to show you that the Mojang people do care. They do care about us. They do listen, and they have a brilliant sense of humor, because you'd have to put all that into place.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Jeez.
Without a doubt.
Oh man. Oh.
Grappling hooks.
I don't know how you got back down from the moon again. I guess you would die, and I don't know if you put a bed down on the moon if it would explode like it does in the other dimensions. I've no idea, but yeah, I want to play it. I really want to play it, but I don't have time, and I'm going away, and it'll be all like old news and out of date by the time I come back. But I'd love to have done a little mini series on that.
Not my fault. I'm just saying. Yep.
Right, Slack. That is it. We're at the end of the news, my friend.
Oh, that was.
We got through it eventually. Now, it is time to go into the bug date. And we have 2 bugs from the bug date. Do you have any bugs this week, Slack?
No bugs this week.
Okay. We'll start with Tiny Raccoon, who says, final bug date this week, because Tiny Raccoon sent many. And sorry, Tiny Raccoon, they didn't all get in. Only one did, because the rest of the bugs you sent, as I said before, were not really ones that would have brought a great deal to the podcast. I'm sorry. Well, this one says, I swear I'm just too good at breaking Minecraft. Smithing tables. And this is a genuine bug. I've seen it before. They can be broken, and you might not even notice until it's deleted your work. No idea why this is. Maybe Mojang working on the new interface. Basically, you can put a tool or armor and netherite in the wrong way round. This is not in the new features, just a regular unmodded 1.19.73. This would all be fine, except that it makes the equipment netherite, but removes all the enchantment. I nearly lost all maxed enchants gear on a netherite pickaxe in a realm where every villager for a village for 1,000 blocks, 10,000 blocks has a job. Oh my goodness, I'm lost with the rest of it. But basically, yeah. If you put because what you're supposed to do is you put your pickaxe in, your diamond pickaxe, and then your netherite, and it turns it into whatever enchantments were on it, netherite pickaxe. But if you put them in the other way around, you put your netherite in first and then your pickaxe, it will still give you a netherite pickaxe, but it completely disenchants it, including Curse of Binding and Curse of Vanishing. So you could basically remove Curse of Binding and Curse of Vanishing from any piece of armor or tool using this. And I guess it would have to be diamond, but yeah. And that's in the game right now. So
that feels a bit broken.
Yeah. Oh, and they finished that one off saying Tiny Raccoon was killed by Foxy No-Tail for suggesting that there was more than one bug in Bedrock Edition. No, there's only one bug, I'm afraid. Speaking of only one bug, we got a bonus bug this week. Slack, do you want to read it out?
A Manchu says, every so often I find a goat horn in a villager outpost, and it reminds me of this bug here, which they have linked. The odds of breeding a screaming goat from 2 ordinary goats should be 1 in 50, but instead it is 1 in 2,500. It's been 2 years since 1.17, and I still have never seen a screaming goat. Half of the goat horns available in Java are not obtainable in Bedrock because of this bug. And at this point, I think it's safe to call this a permanent parity difference. What does the bug say?
Well, the bug says basically you're wrong and you're right. The bug talks about an event. So basically, there's a lot of different ways a screaming goat can appear. There is a chance that one will just spawn into the world. There's the ability for it to be summoned into the world using commands, and there is ability for it to be born. Now, the chances of one being born a screaming goat from a normal pair of goats when they're bred is 1 in 2,500 chance. Now, the moderator on here actually says that there are different bug reports based on this, but the summon goat, which is what this bug report was talking about, there is a really, really, really small chance for that. So I'm not 100% sure that, like, if goats actually spawn naturally in the wild, whether that's right or not. There really wouldn't be a great deal of easy way to tell that. I don't even know if that would be in the, I guess it probably would be in the entity files, but we need to know a bit more about which is what and what's what with that one. But just be aware, guys, it's very difficult to get a screaming goat on Bedrock Edition. So there you go.
Meh.
And on that note, that's the end of the bug date. If you have a bug, in the unlikely event that you found a bug, particularly on Minecraft Bedrock Edition, then let us know by emailing us, filling in the feedback form on the website, or joining our Discord. Jeez.
Bugs don't exist.
No, they don't. They're just all in our imagination.
They're just unofficial features.
Yes, exactly. Right, Slack. It's time for our week in Minecraft. What have you done in Minecraft this week? What have you been doing, Slack? I need to know all about it.
This week in Minecraft, I've been recording on TB and on Slackville. On TB, I'm trying to just get my main base finished, which I'm struggling with motivation to complete. I'm half tempted to just walk away from it and build a new base somewhere else, to be honest with you. I do not like my base this season at all on TB. Nothing about it. Nothing about it at all. It bores me to death. So I'm really contemplating just being like, hey, I'm going somewhere else and doing something different. I mean, there's this Fox guy that lives south on the map.
No,
I could always go down there and I could help build, these skyscrapers that's been going on down there.
There's too many people live down there already, Slack. There's no room.
Well, I mean, it's really quiet up north, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, but there's 4 billion villagers at my location. I don't think you'd really like it, but
villagers are nice. Villagers are nice. But aside from that, this week on Slackville, I challenged T-Man a couple weeks ago to give me a couple things that I wanted. One was a nether-based tree farm, which he has completed, which is absolutely lovely, and we're going to get that going soon. But last night, we finally put together our barter farm. Now, you remember I made the hopper minecart sorter system. It's been modified since then, since the goat farm we made on there. And T-Man being T-Man has taken it to the absolute extreme with bartering. He's figured out how to make them throw the items their own direction without player interaction. So like you build a barter farm, you have to stand here because they're going to throw them towards the player.
Yeah.
But he's figured out a way to force field them out. So they'll go wherever you want them to go. And force field ice track, I think you've seen that one before. And last night, we finally put the finishing touches on the barter farm that we built on Slackville, which, when it's properly filled up with gold, outputs 1.3 million items per hour.
That's using the cheaty gold on a piston thing, is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
We ran it last night. We did the first run on the server. My frame rate went from 60 to like 3. And this was the first version of which we run of it. And it was like 15 minutes, it produced right on 250,000 items. Just absolute insane. Just the amount of items coming out of there. It was like 9 or 10 double chests, a blackstone, gravel, just everything. And it saved everything. It sorted everything.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. When are you building this on TB?
We might need a lot of gold first. Consumes it. That consumed that 250,000 items was 28 shulker boxes of gold ingots.
Jeez. Wow. Okay. Wow. That's very impressive. That's very impressive. Jeez. You've got to ask the question at this point. It's like, why? I mean, they don't actually trade anything worth having. Gravel's good for making concrete. Blackstone. I hate going mining for blackstone. Yeah, okay. Crying obsidian. I'm going to do a big nethery build again. You know, so okay. I love all the nether blocks. So it's just
really, me and him discussed it, and it's like you would never need nothing this big, but it becomes a point of can you do something this big?
Yeah.
So when it's running, it's throwing out 358 items a second. 358 items a second. And
how many piglins is that?
28. 28.
No, stop it.
Oh, just
There's
you wait.
Absolutely no need.
Oh, just you wait. It's going to get quadrupled.
No.
Yeah, it's going to get quadrupled. No. Yeah. I want to push it to see if we can get above 5 million items an hour. Yeah.
Geez, do you know that's funny? Because when I did my my glow squid farm video the other day, and it obviously wasn't working because I hadn't spawn proofed. I did this as a joke on the at the end of the video because it went out on April Fool's Day. I said, right, I'm gonna have to put the rates on here. I'm going to be making them up, but obviously I'll be doing, best guess based on other farms I've seen. Put in 4 million items per hour. And and you're actually talking about a farm that can actually do that. That's ridiculous.
It's the most insane thing I've ever seen. It's a waterfall, a pure waterfall of items coming out.
Yeah. No, I can see the benefit of doing something like that from a technical, can we actually do it point of view.
Yeah,
it's realistically, you do not need that in your world.
No, realistically, nobody ever has a need for that. Nobody. Like we ran that one time last night, and we've got over 10 double chests of blackstone. There's 10 double chests of gravel, 2 double chests of crying obsidian, a double chest of obsidian. So much fire resistance potions and everything. And we saved everything. Arrows, fire charges.
Wow, you saved
everything.
It. You didn't burn it.
Everything. Nothing got burned. Not one item got burned. And only
swimming in ender pearls then.
Oh yeah. And only 2 stacks of items did not get sorted. They ended up in the overflow. Yeah.
Wow. Jeez.
Crazy.
That's ridiculous. I would love to see that.
I have to show you sometime. It's crazy just to watch.
Oh man. Okay. Well, you killed your server and Slack, and I killed my PC with Minecraft this week.
I thought you killed it last week when you didn't get it properly cooled.
Yeah, well, this week I actually managed to kill it. I got blue screen from playing Minecraft.
Oh, rip. What happened? Tell us.
Okay, so this week, because I'm going away next week, as I keep saying, I decided, because I'm smart Slack, rather than doing my usual couple of videos a week, so that while I'm away, this video's to go out, I was going to record them so that there was daily videos while I was away. Because why not? Why not put extra pressure on myself to record enough videos before I go away that there can be a video every single day while I'm away? Seems like the right thing to do, doesn't it, Slack?
No, ideally it would have been okay, I'm going to record a few extra videos, but okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so, but I'm not doing them in my usual style. I've done them in the very much the old style that I used to do, the Stampy long nose style, the style I do on my duck shot videos where I hit start recording, I start talking, and 20 to 30 minutes later, I stop talking and stop recording. So there's no editing. There's no cuts or anything like that. Although there isn't a couple at the end, because I figured out that if you press the pause button on OBS, you can effectively edit your video as recording. The problem with doing that is if you've got any voice filters on at all, which I do, then you can often cut off the end of what you've said when you press pause, which I did in a couple of them, or you end up with sort of a bit of a weird pause. But it is useful in certain circumstances, like when someone knocks at the door, or when you decide you're going to build a slime farm and you've got 30 minutes worth of digging to do that you don't really want to be talking over. So I started by building a squid farm. Then I wanted to build a cocoa bean farm, but in order to build the cocoa bean farm, I need honey and slime. So I needed to make a honey farm. So I made a honey farm, and I made lots and lots of bees very angry because I forgot you needed silk touch to break the hives. 3 times, Black. 3 times.
Oh, you didn't just forget it once. You didn't forget it just twice. You had to make sure you were expert level 99 and do it 3 times. Got you.
Yeah, I had to replace a lot of bees. And then there was a reason for it. I needed to chop down. I didn't have any jungle wood. And I knew I had a jungle sapling somewhere, but I couldn't find it. So I didn't go to spawn, and I didn't go rooting through everybody's chest at spawn, and I didn't steal a jungle sapling from Zloy's boat. So I took the sapling that I didn't steal from Zloy's boat home, and I thought, if I'm going to chop this wood down quickly, which I did do off camera, I'm going to need a beacon, but I don't want to move my beacon. So I know what I'll do. I'll do a wither fight. What could possibly go wrong? And what's even better, Slack, I thought, do you know where the best place to do this wither fight's going to be?
In the nether?
No.
At your base?
Yes. Under my base. Under my base. Not far from where my beacon is. And I did die several times.
I've seen you do that a long time ago on a world where you fought a wither near your beacons and you lost your beacons before. Yeah,
I talked about that. It didn't destroy my beacon, fortunately, but it did destroy my PC. As I was getting further and further into the fight, because there's so many items on the floor, because the wither just smashes everything to pieces. My fans were ramping up. My frames were dropping physically. My input, my keyboard and mouse input would just disappear. So I'm like trying to kill this wither, and it's just non-stop hitting me, and I can't do anything because I'm clicking, but nothing's happening. And on the final blow that I killed it, I died as well. And the second I died, it didn't give me a death screen. It gave me a blue screen of death. Which is really funny, but obviously didn't capture that on the recording. So I got my phone out quick and I videoed my screen and then logged back in again, and it was all over. So I lost all of my netherite equipment.
So the wither didn't just kill you, didn't just kill the game, it killed your computer.
Yeah, and it's the first time I've had a blue screen of death instead of a red screen of death. And it's so weird because it was at the perfect, I died and instantly I was blue screen of death. So, yeah.
Oh, that's too good. That's too good. I got nothing for that.
So then I had to do an awful lot of off-camera trading with villagers in order to get enough emeralds and books to get my gear back. And then I built my gear in another episode. And then I made a slime farm, Black. But in my usual fashion, I ended up making it twice. Because the first time I did it, which is over 3 videos long, I get to the end of it and realized I shouldn't have done it like that. And I decided to do it all again. So yeah, that's been my week in Minecraft. I have obviously no need to edit them. I've cut the beginnings off and the ends off. I put the Minecraft music on for the first time ever in game, so that I didn't have to put music on. And there's so many new music tracks in that. I haven't had the Minecraft music on in years, so that was nice having that on in the background. I've uploaded them to YouTube, or 7 of them. There's 10 altogether. I've uploaded them to YouTube, but I haven't done the thumbnails yet or the descriptions or anything. I think I've edited 4 thumbnails so far, so I've got another 6 to do. So there's some work to do tomorrow in editing this podcast, getting that out, getting those done, picking my kids up, packing our bags, finding out that we don't have any clothes to wear for holiday, going shopping for clothes, and everything else I'm going to have to do tomorrow. So it's, yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be a busy day. Yeah.
It was a really good idea recording 10 videos, Slack.
Yeah. Expert in hotels, what they call you when you're not around. Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. That is our weeks in Minecraft. So now, obviously, it's time to go into the wish list, find out what everybody's been wishing for in Minecraft this week. And do you know what, Slack? I think this is the weakest wish list week we've ever had. We are only just over 1 page long, and there are only like a handful of wishes, which is very unusual. Normally we get loads. We're going to start with Flying Red Rabbit, who says, I think you should be able to use glow ink on dyeable blocks. It would give the block a glow and not make it a full light source. The glow should also be the color of the block. Now, the color of the block bit doesn't matter, because all the glow squid ink sac does is make it so the game doesn't render any shadow over that. It just gives the full brightness of the whatever it is. So the sign, even if it's dark at night. And that's the same as the glow squids themselves. They're fully bright even when it's dark.
I love this. I love this. You know how you got the light blocks in the game that you can only get via creative and stuff?
Yeah.
What if the glow squid ink did exactly that. So you hit it on a block, it got light level 1. Hit it again, it got light level 2, and so on and so forth. I love that.
Do you know what? I'd be well up for that. I wasn't thinking that. I was just thinking that it would be really nice to be able to make like some blocks just bright, not as in give off light, but just never get dark like the glow signs do.
Yeah. I like the I like it.
I'd happily put that in the good ideas bin, but what you said I like even more. That makes sense. A way to use light blocks in survival by literally putting glow ink on any block.
Yep.
Why
and like
not?
the more glow ink you put on it, the brighter it gets. So like say you have a castle wall off in the distance and you want to light it up. So you go up there and you hit this block with glow ink, that block, and you get light level 1 on that block, light level 1 on that block. But say you have a path and you don't want to spam torches or anything else, you get a couple stacks of glow ink and you're just like all the way up and down the path to light it up. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's in the good ideas bin already, Slack. While you were talking, that's incredible. I love that idea. Yes. Good. Thank you very much, Flying Red Rabbit, for taking us down that little path there.
Can we make that?
Yes, like I'm going to give you a nice easy one. No, because you can't affect the Minecraft vanilla blocks with add-ons. You can only add new ones. You could get it technically kind of, although it'd be a bit dodgy and not quite right to actually place a light block. But the easiest...
How does glow lichen work? Is it like, could you make glow lichen like 15 versus whatever it is now?
Yeah, you could. No, you can't. No, because it's a vanilla block. No. No, sadly not. What you need to do is you need to be able to just change that block state to any block state to be able to have a light level, which I think would be really easy for the devs to do, just not as an add-on. You could replace the glow squid recipe and drop with a light block and then just retexture the light block to look like a glow squid ink sac so that glow squid dropped light blocks, but then they're going to look like light blocks in the world, aren't they? And that's not a separate block. See, what you're talking about is to actually make a block give off light rather than putting down a light block. So I don't think it can be done, sadly, but I would like it if it could.
Yeah, me too. Me too, definitely. All right, next up we got Preston, who says mossy deep slate brick. Please. I'm fine with that.
I think if we're going to have more mossy stuff, we need to have lots more mossy stuff.
The mossy update.
Yeah, and I don't... See, what I don't like is the inventory clutter that we've got and the randomness and the inconsistency. So some blocks you can have this variant of, but not all. And some blocks you can have mossy variants of, but not all. Some blocks you can have polished, but not all.
Well, that one bothers me the most. What do you mean I can have normal diorite walls, but I can't have polished diorite walls?
Why not? Why not take a step back? Take away all of the block variants like mossy and polished and things like that, and give us more tools. They've given us a brush. Why not, like you just said, go and click on things with the Glow Ink Sac, make it light? Why not go and rub moss onto other blocks and make them mossy blocks?
That's such a good idea.
And then like, if you want to polish a block, why not take like a leather cloth and go polish some blocks and make them polished? Yes, it would be more work in terms of placing them because you'd have to change them after they've been laid. But
it wouldn't be no different than deoxidizing copper.
Exactly. And then you haven't got all of this extra clutter kicking about with your inventory stuff. And then it, like, again, you could use an axe to take the moss off the deep slate bricks or the bricks that you put them on.
I mean, we've already got that mechanic in the game. You're talking about a block state that can be changed when you wax copper. You're telling it, don't age progress, don't change no more. What you're talking about with this is if I have a stone block there, just mossy, normal stone, and I hit it with vines or moss, it suddenly becomes mossy. I love it. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Another good idea in the good ideas bin, Slack. Hey, we're doing good here today. Brain of Rainquest says, with the new fancy armors coming out, I started thinking about other ways to personalize our worlds or the servers we play on. My thought was, if we could do something with the loom The same way we make banners on wool, what if we could make patterns like we do for banners, but apply them to beds which are made of wool? Thinking about how much coding that might take, I just started thinking about what if we could make more patterns with more items that are already in the game, foods, weapons, armors, blocks, etc., and then decided I want it all. Okay, so there's banner shields they've got in Java that they don't have on Bedrock.
Yep.
But they're based on the patterns you can make on a loom. What Crane is saying here is, can we have more patterns based on like these armor templates that we've got and put those on?
No.
I wouldn't mind. I'd like to have patterned beds. That'd be fine. That's okay. I wouldn't mind having like banner shields. That would be fine.
Yep.
But I have no interest in having like, because the thing with the armor is you can have a helmet with one pattern, a chest plate with another pattern, and trousers with another pattern, your shoes with another pattern. You can be totally unique. But with your bed, you only can have one pattern on it. So you need a lot of patterns to make them individual. So I'd prefer it if you could just make yourself like a little blanket with some wool and a loom pattern that already exists, and just put that on your bed rather than a whole new system.
Or instead of, or even you were talking about, okay, so the bed, okay, so you have a green bed or whatever, and you make a banner, and when you right click the bed while sneaking, it suddenly applies that like as a sheet onto the bed.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I was just trying to explain a little bit more on how I interpreted it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. Well, I think there's been so many requests on the feedback website and everything for beds with banners. In fact, there was a joke in the April Fool's Snapshot where they said, instead of doing that, we're going to make it so banners can look like beds, to just sort of rub it in your faces. Instead of having beds with banner patterns, they had banners with beds on. So I think the devs are well aware that that's what we want. I think there's already plenty of feedback posts on that, so I'm not going to put it in the good ideas bin because it's already in. But yeah. Okay.
So we got the Not So Blue Sheep up next and says, "Greeting, podcast host. I recently been reminded that pitcher plants are carnivores in real life and started thinking, what if we could feed our new 1.20 pitcher plants rotten flesh? Basically, they'd be given herbivores versions of composters. No idea what they drop, though. Thoughts?"
Yeah, if I could feed my rotten flesh to something, brilliant.
Yeah. If I could give it to something and actually get something usable out of it, sign me up.
I know you can give it to dogs, but they don't give you anything back. So if you could put it in a plant that eats it, what would that give you? I guess it would have to give you. It would probably, if rooted dirt, give you back rooted dirt.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yep, rooted dirt. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So give back rooted dirt, and then we got a good idea. Fantastic. Brilliant. Okay. Zenman16 says, "I wish walls could connect properly to doors. Currently, they have a gap down either side. Ideally, when placed between two wall blocks, I would like them to snap to the center to align with the walls, but I would also be happy if the walls jutted to the side a little to link up with the doors." Yeah, the thing, you're supposed to put gates in between walls, which do link to the walls. But sometimes you want a too high wall with a door in. I totally agree with you. So, but the other problem with the door is either at the back or the front of the block, so it's not going to line up in the middle. So how would your wall do that?
Yeah, no. I'm going to have to no on that one, Zen.
No, you'd have to drastically redesign walls to then have corners at the edges, or you'd have to change doors so that they went in the middle of a block, which I wouldn't mind, actually. I wouldn't mind if you could put doors in the middle of a block as well as at the back or at the front, but then I think that would get really complicated.
Yeah, that would get a little bit complicated. And then if you got the door in the middle when it opens, it's going to hang out. And what if you got a back wall there? No. Mm-hmm.
Flash 3636 has just said in the Discord, "Can't you give rotten flesh to cleric villagers?" Yes, you can.
You can.
But they eat millions of it and give you realistically very little back in return. And there's much, much better ways of trading with villagers to get emeralds than feeding them rotten flesh. It's a very, very inefficient way of getting emeralds. is giving them rotten flesh. It takes ages. They lock up really quickly and you hardly get any emeralds. So,
yeah, I did that last season on Truly Bedrock, and I had the iron farm up there that had nothing but 20 clerics in it. And I converted them, I think, 4 times and got them down where they would accept like 6 or 7 per emerald. And it's just, it was never worth it. It was never worth it.
Yeah. The other thing is, with the pitcher plant, I kind of want that to be automated with the hopper. Like, or even if you could just throw the items onto the ground and it would eat them off the ground rather than having to feed them all individually. Although, I don't know, I think I'd be happy to just sit there with an auto clicker and click the rooted dirt in, but then how do you keep refilling your stack? Not the rooted dirt, the rotten flesh.
Auto dropper.
Yeah. Okay, the last wish list then is from, is it me or you reading? It's you, isn't it?
It's from Genfire, and it says sticky boots to walk up the side of builds rather than ender pearls smash face pillar up.
Sticky boots and nether rat slack. I did a whole video on that many, many years ago. Did you ever see that video? So thank you, Jen, for having similar ideas. It always annoyed me in the nether, particularly the old nether before it got all new, shiny and new. There was so much stuff you could see in the ceiling, like quartz and shiny things, but you couldn't reach it. So I was like, if only there was a way to have sticky boots so you could walk on the ceiling and go and get all of that quartz, right? But alas, we were not given sticky boots. We were given piglins instead. But yeah, I would love to be able to walk up walls or upside down on the ceiling. I think that'd be really good fun. But I don't think Slack thinks this is good ideas worthy.
No, I'll go fun idea, not good idea. Sorry. No. I would give you the grappling hook first.
Wow. Okay, fair enough. Okay, well, I tried, Jen. I tried. Okay, well, that takes us to the end of the wish list, which takes us very, very swiftly into questions. If you've got a question for us, you can email us at news@theminecraftupdate.com. You could fill in the feedback form or join the Discord. And if you're at the Discord at the right time of day on the right day of the week, like there are several people in the Discord now listening to us live, then you could ask your questions in there. However, if you're listening to this a few weeks into the future, then there's a chance instead of being in the Discord, it will probably be on Twitch, in which case you could ask your questions in the Discord, which we'll be reading because they'll be in the right place, but actually live streaming on Twitch. Because if people ask us questions in the Twitch chat, we won't be able to see it, so we won't answer those ones. So we'll still ask for people to put them in the live questions on the Discord, and then then we'll be able to read them. Right. But then people will moan because they'll be like, I'm on my phone, and if I switch out to put the question in the Discord, then I get an advert when I'm on Twitch, when I go back to it. So we'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it. Yeah. Jeez. Oh, maybe I could program my my thingy bot, my streamer bot, to like if somebody does like a question command, it will just save that to a file. I could do that.
Yeah, save. I was about to say, please save it to a file and don't have it read out loud.
Oh no, we can't have text to speech reading out in the middle of a podcast. No, thank you. Okay, questions time. Starting with Crania Rainquest again, who says, not to dive too deeply into your personal lives, so please don't think we require any details, but in general, are the two of you planning a meetup in real life, or have you already? No, we haven't, and no, we aren't, although I want to.
Yeah, want to. It's finding the time. I'm still going to be around for a little bit, so scheduling, hopefully it does happen.
Well, when I get back from holiday, Slack, I think we should make a concerted effort to find a day that we can just both go and meet up at some rubbish services somewhere and have a sandwich together and say hello.
Yep, that sounds like a plan. So yeah.
And bring me a present.
You bring me a present.
Oh, I'll bring you a present, Slack. Don't you worry about
that. Minorly terrified after that one. Right. Hawkeye 1889 is up next, and they say, are there any farms that either of you build that whenever you start fresh, you don't like building, but know that you need it? Even if it's something easy to get, curious on what your answer would be. Yes. I hate building iron farms.
Yeah. Anything with villagers in. Anything with villagers in. Trading halls, iron farms, raid farms. I absolutely hate building all three of those. Anything that requires guardian farms. I hate building guardian farms, but I'm so good at it. So I love to build them because they're so good for XP, but they take ages and they're so fiddly. Anything that
Yeah,
requires a massive storage system, because as much as it's great when it's finished, it's not fun building.
no, I like farms that put out one item type.
Yeah, fortress farms. I hate building fortress farms, but I love the outcome.
Yeah, but I don't like the sorters that go with them, so I would agree on that. Yeah.
And after my recent experience of on live streams building my cactus farm 3 times, cactus farms. I hate building cactus farms.
I'm trying to think what's the one I
farms.
absolutely don't like the most. What is the one I don't like the most? Probably a raid farm.
Yeah, raid farms are just... there's just so many problems with raid farms, especially at the minute with all the bugs. But it's like, what do you do with the vexes? Well, what do you do with the ravagers that just glitch through the blocks and end up on the floor below? What do you... they're just a pain, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's apparently we don't actually like building farms all that much, Slack, it turns out.
We like the result. We don't like the build.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I do enjoy. I enjoy when I've got plenty of time and I can just go about a farm in a whole new way without looking at someone else's or going, oh, I've done this before, so I'll just do the same again. When I go, oh, I want one of these, how would I go about doing it? And just do it. Like I did with that slime farm on these videos that I recorded. I just thought, I need a slime farm. I can't remember how to build a slime farm, but I'm pretty sure I understand the mechanics, and I built one, which is why, 3 episodes later I'm going, oh, yeah, I've done that wrong, because I remembered the right way to do it. So, but it worked. It worked absolutely fine. It was generating plenty of slime. It just could have been better. So, yeah. Right. Okay. Moving on. It's me, isn't it? Wildcat Dad says, Foxy, you mentioned you wish you had more questions. I know typically most questions are Minecraft related, but would you be open to non-Minecraft questions? Second question. Let's answer that one first. Yes, I have no problem with asked questions about Minecraft or things connected to us. I don't mind personal questions as long as they're not too personal and like things we obviously can't give you the answer to. I don't mind questions about content creation or YouTube or OBS or audio stuff or my add-ons, anything like that. I don't mind questions about other games. But, if you're like, oh, what's your favorite type of car? I'd probably answer it, but it's not really the question we're looking for. Would you agree, Slack?
What is your favorite type of car?
I don't know. I don't do favorite Slacks.
Well, I mean, like in this moment, if I had to pick, it'd be like an old 80s style, like Malibu, big body car, But
when I was little, I was obsessed with the Lamborghini Diablo, a yellow one, because I had the micro machine for it. Did you have micro machines in the States?
Yeah, Matchbox cars or
little
something.
Tiny cars. They were about that big to fit on the end of your finger. They were brilliant. Total choke hazard nowadays. I don't know how they get away with it, but I had one of them and I was obsessed with it. So I ended up having like Lamborghini pictures all over my wall. And but I've driven one now. I went for one of those like track day things and I had a go, and they're not nice to drive. They're not fun to drive at all. In fact, they're terrifying. So I don't think I'd want one other than just to sit in. If I was rich enough, I would probably have one just sat in a garage somewhere, but I wouldn't want to drive it. I wouldn't dare drive it.
But yeah, personal questions or whatever. Worst that's going to happen is I'm going to be like, I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah, exactly. In which case, if I preempt that, it won't go in the podcast. So ask what you want, but just don't expect it to get in.
Exactly.
Second question, whatever happened with the server admin tool you were working on? I really want it before the new version launches so I can more easily manage my NoCraft server. As is the usual, when I get stuck into something, I end up down many, many rabbit holes, which make things a lot more complicated than I originally foresee, and then realize how much of a tank sink it's going to be. And often I'll come across something that throws up a bit of a red flag. So I can achieve it, but in order to achieve it, I have to compromise. And I hate compromising when it comes to doing stuff that I'm sharing with people, because when you compromise on something, people can't use it, people don't understand it, people sort of tell you it doesn't work. And I don't want to be that guy that puts out stuff that's difficult or hard to do. So it kind of works. There is a lot more work required on it. And I really like the way it works for me, but I know people will have a problem with it, because the only way I can get it to work the way it works is to share it with it's basically a bolt-on program that runs a web server on your computer, which won't do you any harm. It's not going to do any problems. But I know people will start, because people already started flagging up, oh, your add-ons have got malware, your add-ons have got viruses, your website's full of malware. And it's not. It's just there's a thing called false positives. And what a lot of malware scanners and virus scanners do, if you download a program that is not like millions of people have downloaded it, and it doesn't come from a reputable source like Microsoft or Google or someone like that, it goes, this is probably bad, so I'll just say it's bad, just in case. And that's what was happening. And Malwarebytes, the company, the big old like virus scanner, they had so many reports of that they actually flagged my entire website as being full of malware. So I had to get in touch with them and talk to them and explain to them that it wasn't and everything's above board. And they were like, oh yeah, no worries, we'll take it out of the database, you'll be fine. And it's been fine since. But if I put a piece of software like that on, that people are like, this is running a server on my computer, they're going to think I'm trying to steal the data, or I'm after this stuff or this, that. And I don't want that. I don't want that problem. I don't want to deal with that. So unless I can find a way of doing it, and I know there are other ways I could do it. I could do it with Python, or I could do it with AutoIt, or I could do it with C++, but it would take me forever. The reason I've coded it the way I've coded it is because I know how to code that with my eyes shut. It's coded in something called PHP, which is a web programming language, and I've been using that for years building website, and I could do it standing upside down with my hand tied behind my back. If I code it in anything else, I'm having to learn as I go, and it will not just take a little bit longer, it'll take me 10 times longer at least in order to do that. So whilst I want to put it out there and I do want to finish it, I'm nervous about doing so because of those reasons. So that's kind of probably why it's been on the back burner and I haven't done anything with it. Is that fair, Slack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still awake. Everything's fine. Huh?
Sorry, went on a bit there, didn't I?
Well, it was a real technical question. Yeah, I get it. I was listening. Yeah. Oh.
Okay, you're up next with Mr. Bolrog.
Says, hi, Diamond Hunk and Thack Lithered. Mm-hmm. I'm going to remember that, Balrog. I'm going to remember that next time you come on stream. I'm just putting that out there. In a world where the TV semi-connected storyline were to be realized as a live-action movie, whom would you want to portray your characters, and any idea for who the other members? Who would play you, Foxy?
Oh, geez. I think that'd be a really difficult thing to answer. Probably Chris Pratt. And I know a lot of people don't like Chris Pratt these days because of whichever church he chooses to go to or whatever. But yeah, I still enjoy his movies. And I think out of all of the people I've seen in movies, he's probably got a similar sense of humor to mine as an actor. So I don't know.
That's the guy that played. Oh, yeah. Okay. I was trying to think of who that was. That's the guy that played. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Star-Lord.
Yeah. Star-Lord.
Yeah. So either him or Ryan Reynolds, I think, for me, probably.
I would. I'd say Jack Black for me.
Yes. Yeah. I think that would work for you. Yeah.
And I think the internet just crashed out.
Did it?
Okay. No, it recovered. But yeah, I'd say Jack Black. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Well, did they ask us about other TV members?
Yeah, other TV members and other members too.
Jeez. I don't know. I wouldn't want to say, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to say because somebody may be like, that's not who I am. Yeah.
Tiz would be, who's the guy that's in, oh, geez, I can't remember names in films.
So you said Tiz, and immediately all I could think of was Jim Carrey.
No, not Jim Carrey. Oh, Jim Carrey, I think might be a good one for me as well. No, what's the, Jumanji, the new Jumanji films, The Rock. What's the other guy called? The little one that carries the backpack.
Oh, God.
You know what I mean, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
He's dead funny. He's in loads of stuff. He'd be good for Tiz, I think.
Almost Boy might be a good Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
Kevin Hart, says Squirrelicious.
Kevin Hart.
that would be Tiz for me. 100%. Yeah. Dad Kraft would probably be, what's that really old guy with the white hairs? It's like really deep southern accent, does like all of like the trailer voice, like there was a time when I used to
Are you thinking of the guy that played like Snow off of Hunger Games?
Snow? No. I know who you're thinking. You're thinking of geez,
Sutherland. Yeah.
Yeah.
Donald.
Sutherland. No.
Yeah.
No, it's I tell you where I know his voice from more than anything, because I used to watch it all the time with Oliver. But the film The Good Dinosaur, there's a T-Rex in that, and it's him that does that. But he's been in loads of stuff as himself, and he's like an old dude, cowboy, white hair, and he's just got this really, really deep like southern voice. And I think that would be good for Dadcraft.
I mean, does it
Sam Elliott says Radar the Great. Let me just Google
Sam
that.
Elliott, yes, yeah. Does it have to be an actor? Because I think Silent could be Rick Ashley. I'm just saying.
Fair enough. Yeah, let's not go any further on that one before we start upsetting people. Okay. Meerkat says, with the features for 1.20 now mostly out, what's the one thing you are most looking forward to? A, as a YouTube Twitch content creator, and B, as a marketplace creator. What are you looking forward to most?
I don't know yet. I genuinely don't know yet.
I mean, the thing that I like the most is probably hanging signs and the bookcases, but I don't think they'll do a great deal for my YouTube content.
Yeah, there's not really much tutorial-wise out there that's going to be game-changing for YouTube.
No, I'm sure we can find some way of farming some of the new flowers and the sniffers and things like that. Not that there's much point, but
you could, bamboo farms already are a thing, so you're not really going to change them up too much.
No, if I was a builder, I'd probably be really excited about the new bamboo blocks and making new stuff out of that. But I guess the most fun I could have would be going on adventures to find pottery shards and the armor trims, and probably like doing armor trim videos. And that's not really my style of content, but I think that's the thing that's more likely to be of interest to people to watch than the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, it'll be 10 armor trims you must have. Do you want to look like Iron Man? This is how. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously this is cherry blossom stuff as well. So yeah, for builders, this is building YouTubers. This is a fantastic update. For technical peeps, probably the skulk, the programmable skulk sensor, calibrated skulk sensor. I think we can do a lot with that.
It's so new. It'll take a little bit before we really get really creative with it, I think.
Oh,
but maybe
yeah,
I'm wrong.
Definitely. It's so niche as well, but I think there's a lot you could end up doing with that. Just remote control. The problem is with us, we play on a simulation distance of 4. So you can practically reach all the levers to turn your farms on from the AFK point anyway. But it would be nice to be able to like press a button and send a redstone signal off to one particular farm without any wires connecting it, or another on another. So I think you'll see a lot more people having central control rooms that are actually with farms surrounding them, but not actually connected, making use of those. So that could be quite good fun.
Yeah.
As a marketplace creator, none of that really interests me, because if I'm doing marketplace stuff, I'm probably just like building my own entities and building my own blocks and building my own worlds. I'm not really interested in the vanilla stuff, because I want to give people a new experience. So yeah, I couldn't care. For me, if it was the marketplace, I'd love everyone to just be stuck in an update that worked, rather than having new ones all the time that break everything.
Yeah, that has to be frustrating. Very, very.
It does. Right, next one is for you, Slack.
Blood. Slack. How's your day? That's it. That's my question. Going good. I had a package today from a American import store, and I got a couple minor things over here that I haven't had in a while. I got some Kool-Aid. I got a 6-pack of Mountain Dew, and I got some crackers. So,
wow. Of all the things you could get sent over from the States, you got your favorite drinks and your favorite snacks. Fair enough. Oh, wow. Okay, fair enough. Why not?
Exactly.
You need those homely things. This is probably this is the longest you've ever been away from home, right?
It is. It
Yeah.
is. And some days it's harder than others.
Yeah, I can
Some
imagine.
days I walk outside and it's just like, this is not home, and I miss stepping out on the back porch and seeing nothing but green fields and no neighbors for miles. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. Jeez. This is
good. Thank you for asking. Oh, go ahead.
So another question for you, Stack, from Stitch Fix, although I think I already know the answer. So Slack, what are the programs you are using for posing your screenshots? Been interested to learn Blender. There's a lot to it.
Now, for my recent Truly Bedrock videos, those have been done by the Puka, and he uses Blender to make those.
Yes.
For the ones that I've been making for Slackville, I use Photoshop for those.
Yeah, so there you go. I was going to say it was Blender, but yeah, Slack, Puka does those. Puka, believe it or not, and they look fancy, very fancy. Yeah. Jeez. Okay, I don't know why there's that there. Mr. Balrog is next, and it's you to read, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but that's for the bonus show right now.
Why did that go up there? Oh, I must have moved it. Right, let me put that back down there. Okay, right, so, yeah.
Nathan Cool is next and says, Foxy, how's your PC doing?
Well, apart from crashing mid with the fight, it's actually doing very well. I did figure out, so I found out in the BIOS settings that there are 3 settings for this motherboard. One is if you've got like a stock CPU cooler. One is if you've got a tower cooler, and one's if you've got like a full-on water cooling system. And that unlocks how much power the CPU can have. And if it's on water cooling, it's unlocked. So you can just take as much power as it needs, which means it can really ramp up and it can really overclock and it can go silly. And it was set to that because I use an all-in-one water cooler, but that's not as good. They're as effective as a tower cooler these days, really. So I've dropped that down to that to stop it taking quite so much power. And I've also gone into my like software settings to say you're not allowed to go over 5,000 megahertz, rather than it was going up to like 5,850, and it was just burning it out. With my old CPU, it would clock up to like 4,600. I could overclock it to nearly 5,000, but I never saw the point. It didn't need to go that fast. No. So having this one at a maximum of 5,000 is way faster than I had before. I don't need it any faster than that. And I'd rather have, something not screaming in pain and doing a good job than having those extra few megahertz and it all dying. So yeah, it's going well now that I've made significant changes. Jen Fire is here saying, more to Foxy. How do you find the time or motivation to record so much in a short amount of time?
I can answer this for you if you'd like.
Go on.
Money. Stacks of money.
Stacks of money. You know, I would agree, but you don't get stacks of money for doing that sort of recording. You don't get stacks of money for doing good recording, let's be honest, but you're more likely to get a decent number of viewers, subscriber, and watch time for putting actual effort into a well-edited video and doing a proper job. Whereas these videos that I've done, which I've just cut in the beginning and the end off, as much as I actually enjoy watching people do that, and I know years ago that's what YouTube was. Let's Plays were Let's Play. It wasn't edited videos. It was just watching somebody play and talk their way through playing. Those videos don't really perform all that well, and they won't really perform all that well. So I didn't do them for a stack of money. I did them for 2 reasons. One is a bit of a test, because I like to do tests on my channel from time to time. But a few weeks ago, I was putting out 3 videos a week and my YouTube started skyrocketing. And then bad things happened IRL. And I could only just about put 1 out a week when I was lucky, and it all started falling down again. So I thought if I could do daily, even if it's not the best content in the world, will it make a positive or a negative overall effect to the channel? So that's one of the reasons for doing it. But the question was, how do I find the time and motivation? It takes. I recorded all of those 10 videos in a smaller space of time than I would normally record one. The difference is, the reason it's harder was I was talking the whole time. And that's tiring because you're constantly having to think about what you're saying. It hurts your voice after doing 4 or 5 in a row. And you just like, you're constantly on the go in the game because you think, I can't do anything boring. I can't take a minute. I can't do this. I've just got to keep going. So it is harder, but it didn't take any longer than just doing a normal video because there's no off-camera stuff. There's no hang on a minute while I go and gather all of this wood, or hang on a minute while I go and do this. It's just, oh no, we're playing Minecraft. This is what's going on. So from that stand, it's easy. And it's a lot, motivation-wise, I find it much easier to be motivated to do those than I do when I sit down and think, I've got to create a video. I've got to create a video that's interesting and it's got different things in it, so it's not all the same thing. It's got to have interesting mechanics and technical stuff. It's got to be based around a farm so I get clicks. It's got to have a good thumbnail. I find that much, much harder to be motivated for than just to go, oh, I'm going to play some Minecraft. So there you go.
That reminds me a lot of, it was several years back now. It's probably before I started even YouTubing. I was watching Rendog one time, and Rendog was getting ready to go on a vacation to spend time with his family. And he recorded 14 or 15 videos all back to back. But the whole thing of the videos was one ended right where the next one began.
Yeah.
So it was like a long play of him starting on the world, just gathering up basic resources, doing this and doing this. And he talked about so much in that, about his family, about what he wanted to do, about this, about what he wanted to do in the game and everything like that. And I was hooked in that. I was absolutely hooked. It was like no editing. It was great. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes.
It's basically live streaming, but without being live. So there's no interaction with the chat. You can just focus on what you want to talk about and the game, which most of the time is talking about what's going on in the game. But there are a lot of points in that when I'm talking about personal life and stuff that's going on because you're filling in the gap. So it's definitely a different style of content. I don't think it's overly popular anymore, particularly for the younger generation that want everything now, cut.
But then again, that's starting to come back with the new, in quotation mark, long plays.
Yeah, but it's not the younger people watching the long plays. It's the older people. So,
I have higher audience retention from older people than I do younger people.
Yes, but there's a lot less older people watching YouTube than there are younger people.
Mm.
So it's a difficult one to balance that. I try and hit both, but I tend to think I fall more towards the older people.
yeah, you and me both. You and me both, right. Worldlicious is up next, and they say, do you know the proportion of listeners using each platform? I'm curious as a percent, the percent using YouTube to listen to a podcast.
Oh, geez. Possibly. I might be able to get that information. Possibly. Just bear with me. Oh, geez. My bookmarks bar's disappeared, so I can't. There it is. I need to look at the YouTube studio. Hang on, guys. Just bear with me a minute. Let's talk about something interesting.
Something interesting. It's been raining again the last 2 days. We had 2 days of sunshine, and then it immediately went back to rain. I had my first Mountain Dew that I hadn't had in over 3 weeks now, and it pretty much put me into a full-blown sugar coma. And did you know that in the UK, the Milky Way is the equivalent of the US's Three Musketeer, and the Mars bar is the equivalent of our Snickers?
That was quite interesting. It started off rough, but no, that was quite interesting. Okay, the last podcast we did, episode 61, has had 501 views on YouTube, which it says is 151 more than usual. The one before that has had 468, which apparently is 48 more than usual. Now, according to our analytics for the listen version, we have had in the last 30 days 6,909 downloads, which is 33% more month over month. But that audience equates to 3,165 people. So there is what's that? 500. What's 3,000 divided by 500? Quick maths.
Yes.
6. So there's like a sixth. I've done that the wrong way around, haven't I? Yeah, no, that's about right. Yeah, 6 of our audience is on YouTube as opposed to listening. So it is a substantial amount. But that's gone up a lot. I'm surprised. I haven't checked it for a while because the last few times I was watching it, it was really steady. But that's gone up an awful lot. That had a wow. Jeez, when did this happen? I can't believe that. Last time I looked at it, we've been hovering around like 1,000 for ages listening to the podcast, and to be up at like 3,000 actual people. No wonder my internet don't work.
Wait a minute, are you the reason that the internet keeps breaking?
Yeah, I break the internet, guys. Sorry, it's my bad. It's not my fault. Okay, I hope that helped you, Squirrelicious, there. Crafty Dad says, Foxy, in one of your screams, a while back, you were talking about building a new server manager add-on managing website. I just talked about this, Crafty Dad. I started managing a few servers, and my kids and me are their friends. I love your packs. It's a bit of a pain to get them all working just running on the BDS server. I know it would be perfect if I could get myself to do it, but I can't. Sorry.
Right, next one is Genfire that says, Foxy, any dad advice for your co-host? Wait a minute.
Oh, geez. Just love them. Just love them. Try not to spoil them too much, but do it anyway. Don't get mad at them for when they don't know and when they're playing up, because they're just kids and they're just exploring. Just love them. That's all you can do. Read to them. That's the best time, reading to your kids. It's literally the best time you can have. But again, when they go into bed, lay them down and read, and it's great. And don't expect them to just sit there quietly and paying attention. They're going to spin around in the duvet, turn upside down, get the tellies out, stand on the red. It's fine, but just keep reading.
Just keep reading. Gotcha. Yeah. Just keep reading.
Okay, Aaron Glow says, what's your favorite blocks? I don't know.
How many times have we had this?
The green one. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah. The ones you build with.
Okay, next.
Robo Rufus 7 is, what is your favorite indie and console game?
I have no idea. I don't know any indie games.
I can't think of one right now.
No, sorry. But again, it's a favorite question, so shut up. Jeez. Yeah. Okay. That's it for questions. So if anyone else has got a question, I see CJ's put one in there, but I'm not going to read that one for reasons. If there's anyone else who's got a question they want to ask before we end the show, then drop it in the questions right now. Otherwise, we're going to be off. While you're asking that question, I'd just like to remind you, if you would like to ask one for the next podcast, you can do by emailing us, news@theminecraftupdate.com, filling in the feedback form, which is on the website, which is, for now, theminecraftupdate.com, but soon it could be theblockupdate.com, or you can join our Discord, where it's nice and easy. The links are all in the description. Oh, geez. Okay, Robo Rufus is back with another question saying, Android or Apple phones, how often do you rage at Minecraft? Stardew Valley is an indie game. I don't believe. Yeah, I think Stardew Valley is too big to be an indie game now. Yeah, but I guess you're right.
Yeah. When does it quit being an indie game? What makes it be?
I wonder if it's to do with who publishes it, whether it's a class as an indie game or not. I don't know.
Maybe. Android.
Yeah, Android. Absolutely. See, the thing, right? Apple phone for your mum and your dad, because they're not complicated, they're easy to use, and they pretty much do what you want them to do without ever breaking, and they're nice and fast. They take nice pictures. They've got everything that your mum and dad need.
Yeah.
But see, I don't really use my phone for anything other than ringing people, texting people, checking my YouTube stuff, and occasionally taking some photos. So realistically, an Apple phone would be great for me, and I had those for years. But it really, really annoys me that they're constantly pushing, update this, buy Apple Music that, do this, do that, and they're just always begging. They're just begging for more from you all the time. And I just couldn't stand it. So I went to Android, and I've never been happier. I'm not bothered about all the extra functions you can do with Android that Apple lock you out of. I don't care about that at all. I just don't want to be bugged. It never bugs me. It never tells me to update. It never asks me to pay for anything. It's just like, my phone, I'll do what you want. That's what a phone should be. It should be a little servant in your pocket, not something that's just going, can you go after my money? Like having a teenager in your pocket. Apple phone. Jeez.
Hmm.
Okay, we've got a couple more questions here. Crafty Dad says, are you packed and ready for your trip? No, I'm not. Crafty Crafter says, Foxy, Slack, or anyone else, I assume not, but do you have any knowledge on wasps? Why is there one in my house at 9 at night while it's pitch black outside? If I release it, it will survive. Any thoughts, Slack, on why there's a wasp?
Because you live in an area where there's a wasp.
It's probably a wasp nest in your loft, mate. Jeez.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Okay, that is it for the questions. Don't forget, if you are enjoying this show and you want to help support us, you can do by going to patreon.com/the Minecraft Update. Slack, what are you doing this week, buddy?
Same as always, trying to take over the world and play Minecraft. Probably streaming every day, and videos will be ready when videos are ready. What about you?
Fair enough. There will be no streams for me for quite some time while I'm on holiday. My videos should start going out on Friday daily for 10 days, ideally, if I can get them all up and uploaded in time. And that's about it. Don't forget, peeps, there is no podcast next week. And unfortunately, patrons, we are not going to have a chance to do the bonus show for this week or next week either. We have that bonus show in mind. We talked about it. We still want questions for that, which is the content creator bonus show, but we're going to have to record that when I get back now because I've run out of time, sadly. And that's it. Don't forget, if you want to get in touch about anything at all, then you can by emailing us at news@theminecraftupdate.com or filling out the feedback form or joining our Discord. All the links are in the description below. All that's left to say is the same thing I say at the end of every single one of our podcasts, Slack, and that is that if you're in the UK and you haven't come to see me yet, then you're not going to get your present.
And to add to that, when killing the wither, make sure to don't blue screen your computer.
Yeah, okay, fine, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Good talk, right?
Wow.
Good talk.
Yeah, just stick that knife in right at the end, didn't you? Jeez, wow.
I mean, I almost died in the nether tunnel the other day. Actually, I did die. I made one turn and I said, whew, I almost pulled a Foxy, and then I made another turn and I splattered right into the wall.
Out of all the enchants I've managed to get back on my armor, do you know the one enchant I'm missing?
Feather falling.
Yeah. Falling.
Yeah, can we get a splat proof enchantment?
Yeah, just like a head protection one, like an anti. What's it called? What's that? Geez, the word for the damage you take with kinetic energy.
Kinetic energy, yeah. Kinetic reduction.
Kinetic helmet.
Yeah. That sounds good. I like that. Yeah, let's make that happen. All right.
Bye.